Okay. Okay. So this is something I wanted to talk about though. So I'm glad you brought up Jokic being boring. I want to ask you a question, and I want a serious answer. What makes an NBA player box office? Like, what is your definition of a box office NBA player? Like the check, like boxes you have to check off to be considered a box office player. What's the checklist?
Well, intensity is one of them. Speed.
Are you talking specifically skill on the court? Because I think there's a lot more than just that when it comes to.
Well, sure. Yeah, there's more than that.
Okay, for example, Jokic has all like stat wise. Let's like we're not gonna sit here and pretend like he's not great. He's a two-time back-to-back MVP. Should honestly probably should have been three-time MVP, but y'all know the narrative.
The MVP is dumb as fuck anyway.
But nobody cares. Nobody wants to
No.
watch the Nuggets play. Nobody wants to watch Denver play. Nobody cares about this center running the league. Why?
No.
What makes a player box office?
I don't think it's because of off court things. I think it's because on court he's just.
So what you're telling me is
I mean, sure, Giannis is exciting,
okay, but can I
but
ask you a
not
question?
really. Giannis is it does on the court and off the court, but
Can I-
people don't
But
show
can I ask
up
you a question?
in bales to watch Giannis
Can I
play.
ask you a question?
Sure.
Would you say every player who has draw from a lot more people outside of their fan base? For example, like there's a lot of people who are Ja Morant fans that aren't Memphis Grizzly fans.
Sure.
Or a lot of people that were Knicks fans or weren't Knicks fans but were Melo fans, or a lot of people who were LeBron fans but not Cav, Miami, whatever. I'm a Russell Westbrook fan, but I was never a Lakers fan. I'm not a Clippers fan.
No.
Don't you think that is a big part of being a box office player? Don't you
Well,
think when the NBA is going to make sure Steph Curry's playing on Christmas Day, they're going to make sure like I mean there's a reason why there's a like it's the same thing in the NFL why like there's games that are flex later in the year because they want box office games, they want box office players playing.
yeah. What I think is, I don't think that like I don't think that the box off. I'm having an autism attack right now. I forgot what I was going to say. You can continue with what you were saying.
Shouldn't. You probably yeah no. No. Here's the thing. This is what I'm
That's
saying.
that's probably my dumbest moment I've ever had.
No,
I lost everything.
I think a big part of being a box office player is the draw.
But the draw from on the court, you have to draw. You have to be exciting on the court to then draw off the court.
But okay, then why is someone like Giannis?
But Giannis doesn't have that
Giannis's
much of a
box
draw.
office.
But
First of all,
he's not box
Giannis
office
has
like
plenty
LeBron is, like
of
Steph
draw,
is.
but he does. But okay, so let me give this to you. A big reason why I'm saying this is because I was watching I was just diving into NBA YouTube world and I started realizing that a big reason why, and this is not like my bias, like I don't care, LeBron, Mike, whatever. Because you can say the same thing for LeBron, even though you can't, because we're not getting into that though. But listen, I hear a lot of people say the reason why Mike is the GOAT, Mike is Mike. It's like, okay, we talk about accolades, we talk about how they play, but then people bring in this weird like third factor of how he like brought the NBA like the global draw and Nike and this and that.
Sure.
And then I started realizing like, okay, so yeah, no, being drawing people to come to watch you play basketball, or it's just
Well,
I don't know if I don't know how. I really don't know if it is just on the court that
it's
makes
not
you a
just
box
on the
office
court.
player.
And yeah, maybe Jokic is Because he goes and rides a horse.
I'm saying, you think the
in
fact
the
that Jokic
off-season.
does not go on social media, period, and goes back to his fucking homeland when the season's
See, but
over,
I
you
don't
don't
think
think that's
that.
any part of the reason why he's not considered a box office player? Think about it.
Uh,
The only
no,
reason
here,
people
here.
don't like Jokic is because he's a boring person.
But I think that
He's averaging a triple-double. He's not boring when you watch him play. You just don't watch him play because people don't watch Denver play. If he was
I
on
just
Boston,
watched 2
if he was
games
a
of him
Boston
playing, and it was
Celtic,
ass.
if he was a Boston Celtic, he would be box office. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because Stephen A. Smith said he is not a box office player. But I'm saying why? It can't be on the court.
All right.
He's giving you the stats.
I don't think it's just because he's not. All right, all right. We've 100%. We understand that it's not fucking stats related. And yes, he looks great on paper, but who the fuck loves watching Joel Embiid play? I like watching his clips when he dunks on a motherfucker, but I could give a fuck about watching him sit in the post all fucking day.
Bro, I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Embiid
players
has more points a game than him and is still not box office.
A lot of players who are considered box office, and I think a big part of being box office and a big part of being a star in the NBA is NBA culture. Jokic has no culture, like no NBA culture.
See,
Like
but
he has
I
nothing.
think that's a difference
Like,
between box office and being a superstar.
Oh, I lost you for a sec. I got you. Go ahead.
He's not a superstar by any means, but he's not,
How is he not a superstar?
because a superstar has all those things. He can still be box office where people like to watch him play, but people don't like watching him play. People come out and watch Steph Curry
Why?
play, not because he has
Why?
Subway commercials, because he's shooting 30-foot threes.
Okay, but in the same way Steph is an anomaly, Jokic is an anomaly.
Sure.
But I'm saying, why is he not? Cause you still haven't answered that question. Why is he not box office?
Because he's not exciting to watch on the court unless you're a diehard NBA fan. Unless you're a fan
How
who knows
many
basketball.
Nuggets games have you watched in the last 10 years? In the last 10
Two.
years.
2. I watched them this week, and he's boring as fuck.
You watched game 1 and game 2.
Yes, I did.
So I'm saying, think for a second. How many people do you think are just like you that sure enjoy NBA basketball, but are never going to be caught dead watching a Denver Nuggets game?
They're on primetime. They play big teams.
I don't think that's, bro. There's fucking 82 games.
Who the fuck watches the NBA regular season anyway?
People are gonna sit down and catch LeBron. People are gonna sit down and catch Curry. People are gonna sit down and catch box office players
because they're exciting to watch on the court. It's not just off the court shit.
So you think if LeBron all these years,
that's why they watch Ja.
You think if LeBron all these,
that's why people watch Zion.
And you don't think Zion coming up off of Instagram and slam dunk mixtapes and doing all this shit and being a part of that culture that it make him?
But it's because of his basketball play, because he's doing 360 dunks. Jokic can't get more than 2 feet off the ground.
I just don't understand. I don't understand. Because I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh no, Jokic is very, very he's the most exciting player to watch. Because I'm not interested in watching Nuggets games either. Am I a casual? Sure. But the NBA is ran by casuals. The NBA is ran by the casual fan that's going to have his favorite player be Steph Curry in 2015. And there you go. Steph Curry's running the league. Like I don't know. I don't know why Jokic isn't considered box office.
I think we know why.
Have to consider more than just off the court. We got to take numbers. We got to put numbers aside and talk
I don't think it's just off the court. It can't. It is. There's no way possible that it's just off the. His game is inherently boring. I'm not saying his game is bad, but the way that he plays basketball.
So you don't think Jokic would be given the same? You got to remember, AD was 2 years ago, and now hear me
Who the
out.
fuck likes watching AD play basketball?
Devin, are you gonna do this?
AD's not a
Are you
superstar.
gonna do this? Are you gonna do this?
AD's not a
Listen,
superstar.
listen to me though. Okay, but people didn't talk about him like he was.
For a little bit when he was in fucking New Orleans 10 years ago.
No. When he came to the first of all, you're speaking so out of turn right now. He didn't. People weren't talking about him at the Pelicans 10 years ago because he wasn't in New Orleans 10 years ago. What I'm saying is, when he came to LA, that he was going to be the guy that when LeBron left, he was going to lead the Lakers into winning more championships. And this guy was the guy that was better than Tim Duncan. People were saying he was better than Tim Duncan. Trust me, bro. I was in.
No, I'm not saying that's.
People
I'm
were
not saying
this
that
shit.
it wasn't said. I'm saying it's fucking stupid.
But what I'm saying is, if AD got traded to Portland, people weren't gonna be saying that. People would have been like, "Oh, look what Dame got for like a week or two," but then after AD got hurt like twice, they'd been like, "All right, whatever." What I'm saying is, he went to LA. He was with Bron. That was a big reason why. That was a big reason why he was still going to be considered a box office player. If Jokic was in LA, people would not stop talking about him. People be talking about him 24/7, and people still kind of do. He
does get talked about.
Boring. We talk about him all the time because of how boring he is. Kind of like Kawhi. Kawhi gives us nothing to talk about. But
he's boring.
Kawhi's box office.
But he's also boring to watch because he shoots mid-range.
Kawhi's not
and
boring.
He doesn't do
Kawhi's
anything
not
crazy.
boring to watch. Kawhi's not boring to watch. Kawhi's not boring to watch.
Sometimes. And
I can't give you that. I'm pushing.
In New Orleans.
I'm pushing back. Kawhi's not.
AD was in New Orleans 10 years ago.
Okay, so I need you to understand that the biggest takeaway was not when AD was playing for New Orleans.
No, I'm aware. The biggest takeaway is that
that's cool. I'm glad you figured that one out.
People should watch Jokic play because he's exciting basketball.
So what you're telling me is, if Jokic wasn't in LA, teammates with LeBron, he wouldn't be considered more box office than he is now. You wouldn't tell me if Jokic was in LA with LeBron with the personality of Shaq, but he wouldn't be considered box office.
But you're putting him on a team with LeBron James.
I'm not saying how good they would be. I'm saying how.
No. I'm saying that he's able to get the eyes that LeBron gets. He's not making his own eyeballs.
Why isn't he box office?
Because he's boring to watch. He's also not exciting during games.
Was Kawhi box office when he left Cleveland?
Kawhi when he left Cleveland?
Or excuse me. Was Kyrie box office when he left Cleveland?
No, because he sucked.
No. Why wasn't Kawhi box office? Or why wasn't Kyrie? Every time I say Kawhi moving forward, I mean Kyrie. So
we're just Kyrie was in the news.
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
But it was never.
Wait, that's off the court, right? That's off the court, right?
It was never for being on the court.
When he was on the court in Boston, when he was on the court in Brooklyn, it was exciting. Anytime Kyrie is playing basketball,
but he barely
it's exciting.
Played. But because Kyrie's exciting to watch.
So I asked you the question, is he considered box office? You said no, because this, that, and that. You were about to list 3 reasons why he wasn't box office, and none of them had to do with on the court reasons. I'm telling you, there's a big
What I'm saying is he wasn't on the court.
But I'm saying when he was on the court, it was exciting to watch. He was exciting to watch. Just how when Kawhi, you can disagree, but when Kawhi's on the court, I feel like he's exciting to watch, personally. But obviously,
but the only time most people
a lot more exciting.
Yeah, but he never made the fucking playoffs with the Nets, so no one fucking gave a shit about watching a regular season Nets game.
He did, but listen, either way, you just said he wasn't box office because he was in the news and this and that. When he was on the court, he was balling. When he wasn't, but he was doing things to make him not be considered box office.
I don't understand the defense for Jokic. Like, sure, he's a great basketball player.
I don't have
in all actuality of how the people like to watch basketball, it's not him.
I don't know. I don't have a defense for Jokic because I don't know what I'm defending. Like what I honestly don't know because I don't know what is making him not box office.
Is he an exciting basketball player?
No.
Is he
But
good at basketball? Yes.
yes, but listen to what I'm saying to you. What I just said, I said if he was in LA, and it doesn't have to be LA, a team like LA, a teammate like LeBron, a personality like Shaq, you don't think he would be considered more box office?
If he had a personality like Shaq, then sure.
So those three things I just said, you said he would be considered more box office, right? Those are three off the court things. Those are not those. None of those three things have anything to do with how he's playing on the court.
Okay, if his personality showed in his game like it did with Shaq when he was dragging his nuts on people's faces, sure.
That's
But
what I'm saying,
Jokic
though. That's what I'm saying,
plays
though.
straight up and down, right in front of the hoop, and puts up little floaters like this, and no one fucking gives a shit.
All right. That's enough Jokic talk. He's so boring. We spend 30 minutes talking about him. Let's
I don't
move
know why
on.
the fuck we're talking. I don't give a fuck about this loser.
I wanted to know.
I hope they get beat the shit out of him
I wanted
because
to
no one
know.
cares about Denver winning dick.
I wanted to know what made him so not box office. I'm sorry. I'm
Everything.
sorry.